Soycat, and welcome back to Deep in the Mine. This is an opportunity to deep dive into various Minecraft topics, and today I feel like we need to do so with the holiday events that Minecraft has. We just saw this year's holiday event example, and it was, to put it mildly, not really a holiday event. It is a sale masquerading as a holiday event, which is funny because we just had a Block Friday sale, so immediately follow that up by saying it's a Christmas New Year sale. At what point is the sale not an event? And so I figured instead of talking about this type of event, we talk about the much more effective things that Minecraft has done in Minecraft's own past. There are 3 major types of holiday events that they have done, and let's talk about what each of those can entail. Because the first and most obvious type is when Minecraft has something very particular happening in a given season. There is, every Christmas, a present that you can open instead of a chest. It's a cute little addition that just lets you know you're playing Minecraft on Christmas. And then there is Halloween, where all of the mobs, particularly the undead ones, will spawn with pumpkins on their head at a much higher chance. It's cute. It's a small addition, but it lets you know that it's Halloween. And these are really basic changes to make. I mean, the fact that they're in Java and not Bedrock tells you some weird things, but they were found in Console Edition, and it was just a fun way to know what day of year it was, and it didn't really take that much effort. So the second type of update they can do for holidays is release brand new Minecraft content. Something Minecraft did better than any other game back in the day was they knew we release updates regularly for this, and then you don't even need to charge for those updates. People will buy the game more, and so like the Never came out originally on Halloween. A Halloween update was the Never, and that is amazing. Imagine the spooky time of year comes and Minecraft is like, yeah, we made a new hell dimension, by the way. Everyone's gonna go crazy about that, and that's exactly what happened in 2010, but also in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. They did the Halloween update again, the pretty spooky update, and they made this 1.4. They introduced the Wither to the game, a brand new boss with a reason to kill it, the Beacon, and honestly, there is a really valid point to like, well, Minecraft can't do what it used to. It's a much bigger game now. They can't just decide to add things. They've got to go through months of processes and design meetings and blah, 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 blah. But I still do think that they could plan to have at least one of these old-style holiday updates a year. Even the Console Edition, which specifically had to port from the Java Edition, made sure to have an update release in the December period because that was the busiest time of year for them, and so why not celebrate it in some way? So the second type of holiday update would be that, but the third type of holiday update, and maybe the best one that still functions and still happens, because, you know, like I mentioned, it is quite old. It's been a while since we've seen a Halloween update. It's been a while since we've seen them add a brand new yearly event to the game, big or small, but something we do see every single year without fail is a Minecraft April Fool's joke. This is the one holiday, the one tradition Minecraft has perfectly nailed for so many years in a row. I should say perfectly nailed. They've done one every single year for so many years. They obviously, we had a few years where it's like, well, it's Minecraft, but it's just a trailer for something. There are some weird years in there, but so many of the best updates we've seen for Minecraft, whether it's having the the reveal for 1.9, whether it's having a Wither, but it's actually Loves and Hugs, the same update by the way, or whether it's having like ridiculously impossible. Infinite Dimensions was a April Fool's thing they did once, right? That we've seen so many weird April Fool's jokes, VR, and adding all of these together, you start to realize that the one event everyone knows they can look forward to every year is April 1st. So this is the third and most successful type of holiday update that we have in Minecraft, and that is, just to compare, all 3 of those things do not exist in the Bedrock Edition. This is one of the weirdest points of parity that I guess we could talk about, which is that when it comes to the Java Edition, maybe because they can release updates quicker, we do see all 3 types of those seasonal updates. Even though it's been a while since we saw the Christmas chests added, or it's been a while since we saw the last Halloween update, they do deliberately try to release these updates in seasons sometimes, and we do still get a yearly April Fool's joke, but even that yearly April Fool's joke does not make its way to Bedrock. The Infinite Dimensions update is one of the most fun things they've added as a joke to the Java Edition, and it was never made available on the Bedrock world. Why is that the case? Because Bedrock, it's like, well, I mean, you can't just be adding things to Bedrock. You got to go through and I think this is the interesting point about Minecraft game development now, is that they kind of have less space to be fun like this, but I don't think they need to have less space. I don't think it's a requirement, and so let's talk about what they could do instead. What could you do instead of like having this like Java only once a year update. I think that Minecraft needs to have holiday events, and they need to, they can use this theming to sell, to do sales if they really want to. I am going to totally admit right now, they will make more money during these sales, the New Year sales or the Block Friday sales, because people like sales. It's a weird part for evolutionary psychology. Like, you want to get a better deal than everyone else. Sure, that's a weird part of human psychology. Like, if like there's the funny meme behind like, well, $4.99 with $4.99 shipping is so much worse than $9.99 with free shipping, because we like free things, we like good discounts, and honestly, I think you should play to this, even if you are a business person at Mojang, being like, why are we not using every single update as an opportunity to squeeze people for money? Even if you're that sort of person, I think that free events are a way to get people into Minecraft. For example, even if it's a small holiday event like, oh yeah, when you play with a random seed, it's a 50% more likely to be in a snowy biome during, like let's say a 3-day period. Wow, that's already something. A lot of people who play Minecraft quite regularly don't genuinely know that there are biomes where it's covered in snow by default, because yeah, it just has never come up for them. That would be a fun thing by itself. It's so simple, it's so small, but it's enough to make people go, okay, that's interesting. That's fun, right? Another example would be like, okay, every single time Easter comes around, rabbits will spawn slightly more often. Just these tiny minor differences are something you could do for both editions, and you could even make it unchangelogged if you want. I think at this point, Minecraft can't add anything to the game without putting on the changelog, but you could put it in there way in advance so people have forgotten maybe by the time it comes up. I think that is a fun thing to put in a game. Just have small features that change based on the time of year. But I've heard the concern about that. The reason Minecraft Bedrock has been hesitant to add is because of the cultural concern. I mean, everything I've mentioned so far, Halloween, Christmas, Easter, we're all talking about the Western holiday schedule. And although there is a real point of like, what do you really mean by Western? Because, I live in the direct center of the planet. I literally live, where the center line is that divides East and West is where I live. Am I Western? There's a lot of people in Australia who are in the East, and there's people in the United States who are in the West. Oh, people say Western, they mean the United States. I think there's this over concern about that, because although most of the world doesn't follow the Western holiday schedule, I think in reality most of the world knows it exists. There's the fact that everyone knows that in Japan they don't celebrate Christmas, but they have a KFC bucket meal because they want, and they have Christmas trees everywhere. It's okay to say that we have holidays that aren't necessarily linked to these big like religious events that only we have. You can just say, yeah, we have big holidays, and that's okay when they happen. If you don't care about the holiday, you don't need to care that there are more rabbits in Minecraft. I think sometimes there's this attitude of we need to cater for everyone that can lead to you catering for no one. Because if they said, oh yeah, well, we'll just throw in like I'm not going to know every major holiday. If we throw in like Brazil's independence and like a Cinco de Mayo, and we'll make sure to get St. Patrick's Day, even though St. Patrick's Day is actually more widely celebrated in the US. Like, okay, what about Canada Day? Canada Day is a big one. You can't leave Canadians behind. What about Eid Mubarak, like the big religious holiday in the Middle East? Like, okay, we gotta, even if you like adding all of those to the game in their own weird way, so maybe you get less hungry at the start of Lent. Maybe all these, you could add a thing for every holiday, but instead they say, the better way is if we add no holidays. There's this funny thing, it's called design by committee, and I think sometimes when you look at decisions like this, you can see how Minecraft has maybe ended up there, right? Where, okay, if in the room there's one person who says each of these ideas is offensive, and we get no ideas, that sounds like it's better, but it's actually much worse. If we have 10 new features in an update, and each of those features is hated by 10% of the community, that is better than having an update having no update, where no community gets like anything. And I feel like we get that when you come to these big, oh yeah, what do we do about the version of the game everyone plays? Well, if everyone plays it, we shouldn't acknowledge holidays. And maybe that's true. Maybe there's some game design reason why. But I think that for parity reasons, at the bare minimum, everything that's on Java should come to Bedrock. And you know how easy it would be to be like, one day a year this happens. And so I don't quite understand why they haven't. There's a fun debate in there, I'm sure. But the second thing they could just do is say, yes, we are going to try and have an update come out for some major holiday. I think summer is actually a good holiday for that. But even when they say summer, ooh, you mean Northern Hemisphere summer? You don't care about those Southern Hemisphere types? Ooh, that's pretty offensive. You can do that all day in a way that I don't think is productive. So instead we say like, okay, why don't we try and have every single December, some form of update, even if it's the small dredges update where it's like, okay, we updated creative inventory. That was nice. That's a cool thing. And we changed the way that piglin brutes spawn. Okay, that's nice. That's a thing. If you have a seasonal update, if you take something and you make it part of that, that's enough for some people. I think obviously you need to tie that into the way Minecraft has these sales, or you can have various servers join in if you're talking about Bedrock. You can try and layer this on top of each other, but I think it's always underwhelming when you say, yeah, the easiest and most profitable thing is all we're doing for a holiday. I think that is how you show people you don't care. There's this weird business tactic, right? Which is sometimes it is better business to give away things for free. Also, I'm slightly bothered that where my forehead goes is where the Deep in the Mine logo goes. That feels like a design flaw for this show. Do I sit over here or over there, or should I just move the Deep in the Mine so it's not? Do you want to see my forehead? I guess, or what is this called? A widow's peak? Anyway. Hello. For those of you listening on Spotify, I'm referring to my camera right now, and maybe you should listen to things on Spotify. Also, why is Mojang so scared of not being inclusive? I think if you look at any organization, there's just this fear of like backlash to doing something wrong, right? And in sometimes that's like self-inflicted, where you're like, we want to make, Minecraft has made the most inclusive game of all time. If you think about it, it's universally accessible. You don't even really need to be able to read to understand what things are. You just break stuff and you combine it together visually. Like, it's amazing. The reason that Minecraft is so universally accepted by geography, by in terms of like the age and the type of player, the fact that Minecraft can be played by 4-year-olds is a truth to just how easy it is to understand. The same thing that makes it look so dumb on the surface, the weird blockiness you see everywhere, is also why that kind of works. Personally, that's how I see things. Anyway, so yeah, this is by the way, this is my audio-only podcast. It's available on Spotify and other places. And also, we have a sponsor, including this week. The sponsor is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a service which is very important, as I've mentioned, and it is actually the world's largest therapy service. BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/mine. That's betterhelp.com/mine. Better. You know the website. It's linked down below, whatever platform you're watching this on. And honestly, it's I mention this every time. That's the ad read, right? But the real side of things is talking to someone who is professional or licensed and to understand your issues is something that's really important. There's so much, there's so much inside of your own life, your own childhood, your own everything, which you package together in ways you don't even realize. Logically, you can look back and be like, well, why did this bad thing happen? And you're like, well, it was probably something to do with me because I was a bad kid. And you're like, oh no, you think back and you're like, actually, that's not the case at all. So yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. It's something you should try, or maybe you shouldn't. Maybe instead you prefer to talk more about Minecraft and their lack of holiday updates, right? I think the easiest thing they could do is say, okay, we're going to have holidays, and if we're going to say we have to ignore the Western holiday schedule, if we're going to ignore our update schedule is not going to tie into any of that. Instead, they should do something like the April Fool's update. April Fool's is the world's most neutral holiday, right? It doesn't exist. It is literally a Fool's Day. So if we're going to do something like that, why not just say, okay, yeah, May 15th is Mojang Day, and on Mojang Day, something weird happens. That is still something to look forward to. Something that Minecraft is really just failing on. I think this is it's kind of a bummer because I would love to know if people are trying to fix this and not getting there, or if they don't even know there's a problem. Minecraft needs to have more frequent interactions with the community in terms of the update schedule. Lots of games that came out around the same time that Minecraft got popular, or rather in that period where Minecraft was having its down period, they all stuck to this very rigid update schedule of saying, yes, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every month, we're doing some reconfiguring. We could do, weapon rebalance is a simple thing some games do, adding new weapons altogether, adding a new map every now and then, like adding new content somewhat regularly. Even Mario Kart, which is literally owned by Nintendo, manages to say, yeah, every so often, here's some new maps to play with, isn't this fun? And so I feel like my feeling on this is they could really do this with Minecraft. They could just say every 2 weeks, something simple. It's just going to be a little reconfiguring of this. Okay, every few weeks, every month, we're going to release what we had. And it's weird because for a while, the Bedrock Edition, for all its issues and teething problems, they released an update every 2 months during, it was 2016 and 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Every 2 months, an update came out. And although some of these updates were like really minor, sometimes you'd be like, yeah, there's a bunch of new stairs and slabs. Oh, in this update, there's a crossbow. And, you know, like having a crossbow is a pretty cool thing. You know, even if it was missing the rest of the context of village and pillage, you'd go, wow, actually, that is really cool to just have the crossbow all of a sudden. It kind of worked like the snapshots did. May 15th is actually Toy Cat Day. Lol, no joke. Okay, you know what? Mojang can't steal Toy Cat Day. No, May 15th has to remain mine, I guess. But yeah, I do feel as though having a day every single year where you're like, this is the day, is an important one. People can look forward to an event that way. Because one of the things that there's this eternal balance in the artistic creation world between how much do you talk about something before it's done versus how much do you focus internally. The internal or external motivation. Which one is more important to you? And so I see this with Minecraft, and I see them going like, okay, we focus so much on external pleasing the community, let's call it, for 1.18 and the village for the Caves and Cliffs update, that they got really like bummed out internally. They're like, this stressed us to our edges. And so for 1.19, they're like, yeah, we'll add features that we want to add, kind of doing the more internal thing, because that way we can release it when it's ready. We don't have to split it into 2 halves, etc., etc., etc. But what it led to was an update that was much less hyped. I think you can look at any statistic out there and see, yeah, well, it's kind of missing something, isn't it? And I think that if you were to try and balance update hype with your developer health, because sometimes it sounds like some people are saying Mojang staff should be locked in a room until things are good. Ideally, we would have a happy Mojang team that is releasing the maximum amount of content. That's in my opinion, that is the #1 job that the management team needs to be doing, and if it isn't working, it's failing at. You know, there are people paid ridiculous salaries right now trying to manage this interface between what the Mojang game, what Minecraft wants to release, and what the Mojang developers are doing. There's people trying to like find the motivation structures and say, okay, we'll put a pool table in the office if you just, whatever dumb negotiations, public or private or whatever's going on there. That's how it's actually going, right? But yeah, the problem is right now, that pipeline isn't working correctly. Like there are motivated Minecraft developers. That sounds like there must be a lot of the opposite, right? So finding the balance on how you motivate them, finding the balance on like all of this work that needs to get done every single update, how do you get it done? No one wants to do the minute testing in every single update. No one wants to do the going through the bug tracker and working out which bugs need to be taken priority for. You know, there is someone who would love to be working on a brand new type of ladder right now for Minecraft. They've got this best idea, it's amazing, but instead they're working on a bug where like, oh, well, if you hold a bundle in one hand, or like maybe not a bundle because it's not coming, but if you've got mangrove wood in one hand and you've got another type of wood in the other, it won't use the wood correctly. It kind of uses a mix of both, which is not ideal. You know, they're working on something like that you've probably never focused on. And so yeah, I feel like that's the actual internal struggle there. But to kind of talk more in grand terms again about holiday updates, I think that taking some day, some event, and making your own, again, like you can ignore the world if you want to. If it is offensive to say that, you know, because whose holidays do you pick? I mean, Sweden does not rule the world. They are but 0.1%, and Minecraft is very geographically diverse. So you say, okay, there are no real life holidays. We are Minecraft. We we make the holidays. April 1st is exciting to me for, like, April 1st is one of the worst days on the internet, but it's still exciting to hear about these Minecraft updates. May 30th, June the 15th, it's like, pick a day, because they seem to release, every update in the summer anyway. Pick a day and say, yeah, this is the time stuff happens. I think there is a really good argument for why you shouldn't try to do things to external schedules, but at some point you need to say, but we're going to do something. Even if that something is just like vaguely pinned to a season, every summer we try to do an update, and every winter something fun happens to make things snow in Minecraft more or something. Maybe, you can do something very minor, but having something every year, something in very fixed content blocks where the player base knows what are we looking forward to, that is a good idea. Whereas the opposite is to say, yeah, we're just going to randomly, sporadically announce Minecraft events. Oh, it's seriously, they're calling this event the New Year Festival. It runs from December 20th to January the 23rd, which is a weird time period if you think about it, right? Like, it's trying to say before Christmas, after Christmas, and then half of January. So, okay, I guess that makes some sense, but surely you'd start earlier in December. This is the prime sale month. Okay, whatever, you're going to ignore that. That's fine too. Then they call it the New Year Festival. Again, that's the emotiveness you could get from like the holiday season, the festival of, you could go for something amazing, but instead it's like, okay, it's the New Year season. And then also the weird ending, January the 23rd. Again, they've timed that around 5 weeks, so it's 35 days. But that, to me, that has nothing. That has very little punch and excitement. Even if you are someone who really likes marketplace maps and you're going to play each of those weekly ones, where's your reminder every week unless you set one for yourself? There's no community coalescing around it. Minecraft, interestingly, has tried to build one. If you some of you might not know, you can see Minecraft are promoting this. They're trying to get a lot of smaller streamers and smaller YouTubers to promote these big events, trying to say, yeah, you want to... And I think there's something fascinating about that too. There's something fascinating about the fact that they're deliberately using super small YouTube channels to try and make it feel bigger, but I don't think that's how you do it. I don't think that's how you create excitement. I think that people are excited for what they're excited for. You can artificially create hype around a sale all you like, and you might get something, but it's so much easier. There's this, it's well known in marketing and in business. The best type of advertising is word of mouth advertising. Get people excited about something and they'll talk about it. A brand new update is really exciting, and I will talk about all day about like, oh yeah, well they've got these cool hanging signs if they're cool enough. The problem with 1.19 is whenever people would bring it up, it'd be like, oh yeah, they're adding like a bunch of wild things. And then, what do you mean by wild things? They're really wild. Like, they're adding like the warden, and they're like, wasn't that from last update? Yeah, but he's wild, right? And like, they're adding a new type of swamp. What makes it so wild? It's got new trees. And they're like, that would be the failing of that update. Like, word of mouth marketing would not work. Whereas, 1.20, whenever they get it a name, they can make sure it's like, it's catchy, it works. Caves and Cliffs immediately wowed people after the second half came out, and they're like, whoa. The Nether update was the first time so many people went to the Nether. It was a reason enough to go and explore this real huge part of Minecraft. And I think there's a real missing link in there somewhere as to trying to artificially create their own holidays with their own reasoning. It's just sales. It's so much harder than saying, here is something great we're making. Oh, by the way, there's a sale just to promote it. Like, if after 1.20 came out, there was a sale too, people would be like, oh, and then here's something else. I don't want to make my own world. I'll play one of these. But instead, they're trying to really separate out the content for the game and the sales and the events that they run, and that I do not understand. Maybe it's smart. Maybe they say, yeah, we can't release an update every month like these other companies do, but we can make things go on sale every month. That Block Friday, it's the Oktoberfest, it's Valentine's Day. You love to get discounts on maps. Let's march into the discounts that are. But yeah, I mean, maybe that is the smarter move. Maybe I'm always willing to admit that, like, yeah, even though the traditional thing says that word of mouth marketing, making a good product and then letting sales follow it is the best thing to do, I don't doubt that Microsoft Minecraft has some of the best paid executives on the planet trying to optimize precisely this equation of like, how do you get the most revenue out of this thing that you spent billions on? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of that is incorrect. But that's where I think these questions always come back to like, what do you think? Do you think that games do better when they have word of mouth? Is how Minecraft originally got around. Yeah, if Minecraft had done what so many games now do, and they had tried to run influencer campaigns to get Minecraft to be successful back in 2011, it might not have actually worked. That's the crazy thing. They might have done worse spending money trying to promote the game than if they'd done this. If they had added the marketplace back in 2010, if they'd have sold for $26 instead of like 10, if they'd have like done things that are objectively good business moves, the game would have been nowhere near as huge. I think this is actually, if you don't mind, a little bit of psychology talk at the end of your Minecraft podcast. This is an interesting world problem. There's like two classes of people. There are like artists and there are business people, or you could say there are creators and there are managers. To keep things nice and simple, creators are really good at making something out of nowhere. Like anything brand new has been made by someone painstakingly. Even when you go into a restaurant, you see that the ceiling's got broccoli on it. You're like, wow, that's a weird ceiling, huh? And they spent lots of money on that broccoli ceiling. Was it worth it? Who knows? The creator does not care. The creator creates. Whereas the manager is really good at taking sanity to this stuff and being like, did you spend $10,000 putting broccoli on the ceiling? Don't do that again. That was a bad business move. Instead, focus on selling food to customers because we're a restaurant. Like they look at Minecraft and they say, are you spending money updating the game for free? We have 100 employees paid $80K a year, whatever, whatever the average cost per employee is. We're spending $8 million a year on resources just to update the game for free? Are you guys idiots? Do you know we can sell things to people? Look, people are buying texture packs and skin packs already. You need to maximize the times people are giving you money. And honestly, you need someone like that in a business. It's almost like I'm putting them out to be the bad guys in this story, because I personally think the more creative approach is how Minecraft could work. But you do need to have people like that to say that, yeah, you can't spend $100,000 on decorations for your coffee store when you make $3 a coffee. Instead, maybe you should make better coffee that people want to tell their friends about, or that people will go, oh wow, that's a cheap coffee, I'll go in here. You need to have some unique selling point. You need to have some reason for people to care about you and to notice you and to all these sorts of things. And so, yeah, the world is kind of predicated on this eternal struggle there. You'll see, particularly when we're talking about, like, anything economic, like, okay, why are rents so expensive? If rents are expensive for business properties, now these creators can't take a chance because they need to have the backing. They need to sell X amount a month, which is why... Ooh, almost knocked over my water bottle. Which is why when we have... when you see some areas like the gentrification of them, it's their rents going up so that only the most stable businesses can survive, and the most stable businesses aren't the fun ones. People want to have these fun, creative endeavors where it's like, it's a restaurant, but we don't sell food, or we do sell food, it's all in bathtubs though. Oh, isn't that fun? I want to eat food out of a little children's bathtub. That would be interesting, would it not be? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's the worst idea. The only way to really be sure is to do it and find out. And so there's a certain creativity in the world which is being blocked by certain interests like this. And so the other end of that is to say that, like, yeah, you need someone who is, in the same way you need to be in your own life, a little bit of a manager. You can't be like, what am I going to do today? I'll wake up and I'll see what happens. You can't live your life like Willy Wonka, as fun as that sounds. You actually have to be grounded and say, okay, today I'm going to do this because I said I would do this. This would be valuable experience, so I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to go to work because I can't pay my rent without it. Then I'm going to, I'm going to call the electricity company and say, please, could you, actually doing things on a day-to-day basis is important, but also it's fun to have the crazy, spontaneous, like, pet a cat on the street. It's fun to go randomly, just go on a drive to somewhere fun, or go, spontaneously meet up with friends. Doing all of these different fun things is important. In the YouTube world, right? The everyone looks at YouTube and they say like, oh yeah, the way this works is you make videos talking dumbly about cats or something that's exciting or popular. Like just that's all you've got to do. But it's like, no, you've got to have some weird, unique angle on it, and you've got to hope that people are attracted to that weird, unique angle. Like there are corporations that try to make YouTube channels, and most of them fail. And so yeah, I think this is the ultimate debate that is just running in the world, right? The rare bone-in chicken sandwich restaurant. I'm just saying, I don't like bones in my chicken. I don't like bones in my food because I like my food to be edible. I don't like when people are like, oh yeah, I love when there's like a bone in my... It's like, that's a ridiculous idea. You don't want to eat the bone. It's ridiculous. And in the same way, I want my Minecraft to be edible. I don't want my Minecraft to be like, oh yeah, the only event we've got this year is a 75% off sale. Even though that's the best for business, because if you give them nothing else besides the opportunity to spend money, more people spend money, but more people get disillusioned with the product. The real reason you need creative types, even once you've optimized for revenue, is because you need to have something in there saying, we need to get people engaged and excited so that we can later squeeze them for money like they're a lemon or something. And yeah, I think Minecraft sometimes is really missing out on that second bit. And it's cool to see that there are a lot of talented, passionate people developing the game, trying to make it the best it can be. But I'd like to see more of the influence on that. I'd like to see more yearly events, more predictable, regular events. And that's what I think Minecraft should do holiday-wise. I think holiday updates are a great idea. I think holiday features, even if they don't tie into holidays, because, there's no holidays worldwide. So pick your own holidays if you want, Mojang. And also try to have some more regular update schedule around which you can make your own holidays, I think would be a good idea. But I also think it'd be a good idea if you could, I don't know, drink out of a bathtub. I drink out of my bathtub if it's filled with iron brew. But, I think it'd be a good idea to bathe in iron brew. I think it'd be a good idea to run a podcast where, look at this font down here. Look at this thing up here. These are all terrible decisions. Next time is going to be all different. Which, by the way, speaking of, if you're looking forward to the next episode of Deep in the Mine, there's going to be a little week hiatus here, and then it'll be running throughout January. And then, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that you found this to be interesting. And if you did, then, it's on all the cool platforms. Check out our sponsor, link down below. Thank you for watching. I am going to be taking some time off in January. A lot of YouTubers like to do that. I'm going to be doing it as a opportunity to rebalance and refresh. As everyone knows, CPMs are lower, so it's the least costly time to do it. Like if you don't upload 10 videos in January, you lose you lose 80% of what you'd lose doing it in a normal month. So that's my vibe. That's my reasoning, and I hope to see you in the 2023 for more, better, stronger, harder podcasts. Where I'll be drinking out of bathtubs. I'll fill that with some juice and I'll drink it for the rest of the next one. Anyway, have a nice day, everyone, and I'll see you if you're watching this. Wait, have a nice day. Goodbye.